Follow Tom Myers as he visits the Asclepion, the world's first hospital, to explore the ancient Greek healing traditions and their relevance to the modern-day structural bodyworker.
In these temples to one of my heroes, Apollo, the healing god, and the music god, people would come before they went for the healing cure to have a meal with the gods. Now, this is kind of reminiscent of communion. The idea of eating with the gods, though, is a little bit different. And I just love it that there was this very significant but commonplace act of having a meal, but you have a meal with the gods to ready yourself for their healing. Sometimes the healing of the gods is not as smooth or seamless as one would like. It involves the catharsis. It involves a push through a difficult place to come into someplace new. So I'm standing here at the restored entrance to the baths here at the Asclepion. Hygiene was a very important part of healing here. And the Greek god of health was Ygieia, from whence we get the word hygiene. The idea of cleansing is very important to restoring health. Modern medicine likes to make a lot about surgery and drugs and what they've done to the scourge of disease, but if you actually go back to the progress of medicine in the last couple of centuries, a great deal of the improvement that we have is actually due to hygiene, is actually due to cleaning up. So perhaps we could return to that idea of hygiene, because it is hygiene that has really reduced the amount of disease that we have in modern culture more than the medicines themselves. This was an active stadium and gymnasium 2,500 years ago. The fact that exercise in a stadium was included is, again, not really a function of entertainment, but a function of the restoration of health. So here, as we stand in this stadium that they're in the process of restoring, we're reminded of the pillar of movement, the pillar of exercise in terms of what it does for human health and what an important part it is. It was the poet Juvenal in Rome that had the idea of a sound mind in a sound body, mens sana in corpore sano, the idea that if you let your body go to hell, then your mind was likely to go with it. So the idea of establishing and reestablishing health in those who didn't have it by means of exercise is something that is very strongly expressed in the existence of this stadium. I'm standing in the center point of the most well-preserved theater of ancient Greece. And it happens to be here at Barrows, at the site of the first hospital. And one could wonder why there's a theater at a hospital, and maybe this hospital shared a lot with the modern-day spa, so you might think that this is for a bit of light entertainment. But I think it has a deeper meaning than that. The Greeks have a word in theater called catharsis, meaning the bringing of disparate elements together into a kind of drama or explosion that pushes the audience, pushes the heart of the listener into a new place. And when I think back on the people that I've had a privilege to work on, there's always this moment of catharsis. If somebody needs to move from a troubled place into a new, more inclusive, more holistic, more integrated place, there's always a kind of neck of the hourglass where those parts are pushed together, and that results in a catharsis that moves the person toward a new place. So I think the inclusion of a theater in this site is essential, is part of that catharsis that brings someone from an old place into a new place. So here, amongst the magpies and the wind, we come to the essence of our journey. These are the sleeping Barrows. Now, it's just rained and it's winter in Greece, so I don't feel like lying down. But these are the rooms to which the afflicted would be brought, and they would sleep here. And during the night, the priests would show up with snakes. These are defanged snakes, for those of you who are herpophobes like myself. And the snakes would supposedly whisper dreams into the ill person's ear. And the priest would be around in the morning when the person woke up to listen to and interpret the dreams. And this, to me, is the essence of the difference between this and the Hippocratic method of healing. When I was in training with Ida Rolf, she said, we are not of the tradition of Hippocrates, we are the tradition of Asclepius. And that set me on the journey that leads me here. Hippocrates was in an Asclepion. He was the head of an Asclepion that was on the island of Kos, about 250 miles that way, and about 250 years after Asclepius started this hospital here. And it was the Hippocratic idea of the four humors. He really developed the four humors of sanguine and phlegmatic and choleric and melancholic, and that was essentially the first time to make biochemistry, to alter the chemistry of the body through medicine, through nutrition, and they sampled the four humors to see that you had the proper balance among them. But here it was different. The idea in the Hippocratic idea was that the doctor was the expert, he knew the chemistry, he would sample you, he would tell you what to do, the doctor was the expert, the patient, it was a top-down kind of thing. Here, it was more collegial. It was the expertise of the doctor as an interpreter, as a midwife, coupled with the messages from the unconscious of the sufferer themselves. The idea is that the healing is contained within the one who needs to be healed, that the essence of what needs to be done is in there. So it was here in these sleeping barrows that this came, and this is still the kind of healing that I want to promote, which is that I am reaching inside. Whatever expertise I have, but that's really not the essence. The essence is to reach inside the person who comes to see me and find what it is inside them that is the key to their healing.